let's start with this. Obviously, this is digital data we're storing, right? I mean, you take a film, you scan it on a scanner, it becomes digital data. Blu-ray is digital data, DVD is digital data, streaming is digital data, and that's all zeros and ones. So how can DNA store zeros and ones?
Okay, very good question. So I'll use a little prop here to, hopefully all of you guys can see that. You remember from your Biology 101 class, the double helix, the DNA double helix that is found in all humans and living things. And you know what the double helix is about really is about these little colored things you see in the middle, right? Like
the rungs of the ladder.
The rungs of the ladder, exactly. And you see that there are 4 types or 4 different colored rungs. There's, in this case, red, green, blue, and yellow. And basically they correspond to what we call 4 nucleotide or 4 bases. So basically DNA is made up of 4 molecules, and they're called A, C, T, and G. And that's it. Well, plus, you know, the black stuff around that helps the molecule stick around. But really, DNA is made up of these 4 molecules, and
right. in a variety of combinations.
Exactly. So what happens is that, you know, the DNA in your body corresponds to a certain sequence of these molecules that is different from the DNA in my body, which is different from the sequence that you find in the DNA of somebody else's body. And basically, everybody has a different sequence of DNAs. And the order in which these molecules appear in your body or my body basically encode the information which is unique about you. So encodes your genes, encodes that basically encodes what's found in your chromosomes and so on, right? So
the color of my eyes, the type of hair I have, and so on.
Right. So basically the way biology encodes information is by having a sequence of these 4 molecules, a unique sequence of each of those 4 molecules for everybody. And so the idea is to say, well, then let's do the same thing for movies. What we'll have is we'll just have a unique sequence of molecules to represent movie number 1, a different sequence to represent movie number 2, and so on. And so the way we do that is, as you mentioned, we start by digitizing movies. So we transform a movie into a sequence of zeros and ones, right? So which means we have an alphabet of 2 symbols, zeros and ones, right? Now, remember, DNA has 4 molecules. So now we have 4 symbols that we could use to encode that movie. And the simplest way would be, for example, to say the 0, we will turn into molecule A or T, and the 1 we could turn into molecule C or G. So if I go back to my little helix here, right? So this could be a 0, this could be a 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, right? So now you can see that this DNA sequence really can be used to represent a digitized piece of content.
Now, so in fact, is it true? Sorry to interrupt, but is it true that for example, A and T always go together and C and G always go together?
So yes and no, in the sense that some molecules go better together. I mean, that's why you see always these, you know, 2 of them going together. But in practice, you can make some of them work well together as well. I mean, it can be a little bit more complicated, but in practice, we can create, an arbitrary sequence of molecules.
Okay.
And now, so what we did, we started from the movie, we digitized the movie, so we turned it into zeros and ones. And I explained, now we can turn that sequence of zeros and ones into a sequence of 4 molecules, A, C, T, or G. So now the movie will be represented by a long sequence of letters. You know, for example, A, C, T, G, G, A, C, right? That would be the beginning of the sequence. And then what we will do is that we will not create a helix like a biological DNA, like I said, but what we will do is that we will write our own sequence. We'll put a molecule A, say, for example, then attach another molecule A, then attach another molecule T, then a C, then a G, and so on, and basically create a strand of DNA ourselves. and that will be the way we encode the movie. In practice, the strands cannot be too long, so our movie will be made up of a collection of strands, or like a hair, a little hair of DNA molecules, and then another hair, and then another hair, and so on, each one of which will be made up of a sequence of DNA molecules.